Hello, everybody. I gotta get the notes. I'll be right back. I forgot to switch us to the different. I think we'll be okay at this speed. Right, we'll be okay. Hold on. Well, hello, class. So these are my best students. Class 3, and we have 55 people already. Oh, I should have gotten some tissue paper also. Hold on a second. All right. Hello, everybody. This is Heart-Centered Remote Viewing Class 3. Welcome. Oh, Philippine's here. No, you're not late. I actually just opened class. Excuse me. So this is Heart-Centered Remote Viewing. It's an open class. You can pop in or pop out anytime. I try to finish up my thoughts. And then we also backtrack and we go over stuff over and over again. So we do that because people come and go. And then we have some very nice people that have been taking notes for us. So thank you so much for that. I looked on Amazon. This is not $200. It's only $89. $200 was the cost of the whole ensemble. So a little bit more affordable at $89. Somebody said, but that's not real loungewear. Of course it's not. When you think about, somebody had written me and said that Ginger Rogers was the queen of loungewear because she would dance in, her slippers had heels and she would dance in loungewear. It was awesome. Absolutely awesome. Anyway, let's give gratitude to everybody. But before I do that, everybody be sure and share, like, subscribe. Push the bell icon to get the notifications in case you haven't been getting notifications before. And let us start by saying hello to each and every one of you. God bless us, each and every one. Hello, 1111. Thank you, Hope, for the moderation. Hello, SS. Hello, Linda Barurian. Hello. Cartomancy Mesquite. Hello. Judith Tharp. Hello. Sam Nomad. I am a Biden for Whimsy. Lovely. Grandmere D. Hello. Okay. Who else? Anne Numerick Murray. Hello. Susan Brochin is here. Have we said hi to Judith Thorpe yet? If not, hello again. If we haven't already, hello. Candy Mullen, hello. All right, so we'll keep saying hi to people as we go along. Hello, Pamela Doss. Pammy Hansen, hello to you as well. Michelle Taylor, I'm glad to see you here. Hopefully we've got some good note takers. So before we get started, I have a remote viewing about a criminal investigation we're going to be hearing more about because I accidentally wound up in the middle of a remote viewing before class. I was like abiding with Rachel Maddow, and the next thing I know, I wound up on a bone. She dangled some bone, which led me to a thought, and then the next thing you know, I was in a remote. So here's something fun that people are going to find out about. Where's the notes now? All right, so Bannon. I'm still trying to figure out if this guy's a double agent. He gets arrested on the billionaire's yacht who owns, I believe he owns OAN, and he might have investments in Newsmax as well. So when you go into the energy of the meeting, this is the remote viewing. Is everybody ready for remote viewing? I just went right into a remote viewing. We're not going to do class right away. I got to do a remote viewing first. Is that okay with everybody? I'm sorry. I should have said hello. And are we ready? Yes. I apologize. I just got so excited that I went right into it. Okay. So Steve Bannon was arrested on the yacht of a billionaire. He was a Chinese millionaire. And that Chinese billionaire is very anti-China. I can't remember his name. I didn't have time to look this stuff up because I went right online to you guys after I did the remote. I guess we can look it up later. But anyway, I believe he owns OAN. He owns a media company, which he calls the Tang Dynasty. He wants to overtake the communist China and become its next emperor. Anyway, the original reason that the National Enquirer got in trouble was because they were doing things like paying to kill stories, etc. But specifically what they were doing was they were acting as a wing of Trump's political campaign by working in cahoots with the campaign to promote an election. So basically, at that point, they were no longer a media organization. They were basically a wing of the Trump political campaign. Anyway, so the same thing is happening now. You have OAN and Newsmax. It looks like they're negotiating some kind of a deal with Trump for possible exclusive rights or something like this. They've got the money because it's being linked back to this billionaire, but that's where Bannon gets involved. And that's where it starts to get a little weird, because if they're doing a similar thing than they did with the National Enquirer, and if people are actually spending money, and if they're actually working as lobbyists to promote the campaign, then this whole thing is under investigation. FBI is investigating OAN, Newsmax, the guy from the Tang Dynasty. So I think this is another story that's about to break. Basically, an attempt. Either they engaged in a crime or they attempted to work. They seem to be trying to choreograph stories with real things that were going on in the campaign and may have been prevented from doing so. Choreographing stories to help Trump, which is not the same thing as reporting. What do y'all think about that remote? Guy Wengi, yes. So we will expect to be hearing more about that. That's about to blow up. You'll be hearing more about that name, their fake news organizations being under investigation, and specifically being under investigation because they're acting as lobbying groups for extreme right-wing anti-Chinese policies. He also seems to have formed an alliance, from my research, with Falun Gong, which he originally had criticized. So some of their funding is coming from him for the Falun Gong. All right, is everybody ready for... See, I don't cough all day, and as soon as I go in front of the camera, I start coughing. Any comments about that? Should get some water. He'll go away once I start talking. So they basically tried it again, and just like, and the same thing's going to happen. So, all right. So today we're talking about the third chakra and the fourth chakra, and I think it's just allergies. Thank God my lungs are okay. I got checked out. My oxygen saturation is 100%. All right. Sorry, Mila. I keep kicking Mila. Okay, so we're talking today about the third and the fourth chakra, and we're going a little bit further also into step 3 of the heart-centered remote viewing technique. So the first thing we want to do is we want to talk about the 5 steps again and review the 5 steps and their function. So in order to do heart-centered remote viewing, we have to engage in 5 steps. The function of heart-centered remote viewing is to attempt to get information that's not readily available from a subject, a target. So we engage in 5 steps. And the first step is number 1, safety set and setting. This is all review. Number 2, the trance state. It's the process of getting us into a trance state. We talked extensively about that last time. The tools that enable a shaman, you being the shaman, Michelle being the shaman. What are your tools going to be to get you into a trance state? A repetitive rhythm, a repetitive chant or prayer, incense, candles or fire, music, a connection with divine source. Step 3 is the abiding, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Step 4 is after you complete the abiding with God or Spirit, Mother Earth, Father Sky, or Spirit God as you perceive of them to be. Christians will think of it as abiding with Christ. It works great. If that works for you and you're a Christian, hey, I got no problems. Do what works. People will have written and said, well, I'm a born again Christian. Can I do this? Of course. It's like, this is universal. I'm teaching it as a universal technique. Okay, so, and then we have the target that we are so we enter into the abiding state, and then we try to invite another human being to abide with us in that state. And so now this can be a type of prayer work. You abide with Christ. Say I used Carmelite nuns as an example because they have a type of abiding technique. Did everyone get a chance to see the video I posted in the comments section? Did everybody get a chance to see the video about Carmelite nuns? And everybody get to see what the abiding technique that they were using was? So if you haven't had a chance to do so yet, I would really encourage you to check out In Hidden Light. It's about Carmelite nuns, and it shows, all you have to do, fill her in, is go to my channel page to the comment section. Thank you, Michelle, for summarizing that. If everybody reads what Michelle just wrote, she's giving a summary. She's giving the cliff notes because she's a good student. Prayer is not something you do. It's something God does. that you're open to. So the more you open to God, the more you receive him. His life flows into us in prayer. Carmelite nuns. Thank you. That was beautiful, Michelle. Thank you for taking those notes. So the abiding state is a state of holding space, and it's also a state we think of as mindfulness. It's okay, Phyllis. You can go back and watch it. There is a test tonight. I mean, after this lecture, there is going to be a test, but my tests are always fun. And it's open note. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about two things. One is mindfulness, and the other is sensations. Those are two things that are fundamental to learning to be a heart-centered remote viewer, and also a classic remote viewer. And if you were studying with somebody and you were a detective for a police force and you were learning traditional remote viewing, we would say this to you, and that is, we're trying to get you in contact with your own gut. That's the traditional remote viewing, is the detective who goes in and interviews a suspect, and then they sit there and they abide, and they just have a feeling. And then they make a note what that gut feeling feels like. That's an example of mindfulness and sensation. So, in a meditative state, in the mindfulness state, if you're doing Vipassana meditation or if you're working as a heart-centered remote viewer, it's very similar to Vipassana, and it actually uses Vipassana meditation technique in the sense that Vipassana is a meditation technique where you're trying to be mindful of sensations taking place in your body, with specific focus on sometimes the breath going in and out of the nose, the sensation of the breath in and out of the nose. And then the monkey brain does whatever it wants. It goes back to the nose. That's a basic Vipassana technique. But another is to begin to just really check in on your own gut. Really check in on your own gut. It's like when you know someone is lying to you, but you can't prove it. That feeling you get in your gut. You go off your center. You may physically feel when someone is lying to you, actually something jerk or a physical sensation. That kind of awareness of your own thought, your own gut, and what it's telling you can be really, really helpful. So there are a couple things. So you're being aware of the sensations in the body, but we also talk about mindfulness, which is the ability to. Oh, something just dropped. To drop something. I don't know what it was. Hopefully nothing serious. Hopefully not part of the chair. Yeah, Vipassana 10-day retreat in mindfulness. So what happens, I've got to turn this down. So mindfulness is the ability to put your emotions aside and understand and without emotionally reacting, first observe the sensation and then document your emotional response. And that's really the meat and bones of mindfulness and being a remote viewer. You observe without emotionally responding sensations in your body and any emotions that derive from those sensations. So, does anybody have any questions before we go on? Let's open up the floor and talk about the difference between. So, do people understand the difference between mindfulness and sensations? Mindfulness is the ability to be the observer of what's happening in the body without emotionally responding. What do y'all think? Well, you could always take some passion flower and lavender. Then you'd be in a state of, then the spirit of the plant passion flower would come over you and you just, it would help carry you where you can't currently carry yourself. That's the great thing about the plant medicine. If you feel like, man, I cannot deal with that person, maybe I'll take some holy basil, because holy basil is a universal healer. And maybe then I'll be able to deal with that person. Okay, so we're ready to move on, as much as that seems really interesting to me. So, the purpose of learning mindfulness and the sensations in your body is so that we don't jump immediately to emotional conclusions without first analyzing the sensations that led to the emotions in the first place. I'm hot, I'm uncomfortable, I don't feel well, I've got diarrhea, I've got a headache, and I'm ready to really get angry. Why am I feeling so angry? Because I'm sick. I'm not really sick, but I'm using that as an example. I may not consciously be aware of why I'm in such a bad mood. So how I physically feel in my body is going to have an impact on my emotions. So what a heart-centered remote viewer can do is they can deconstruct they can deconstruct and try and understand what is theirs versus somebody else. So if I go in, say I go in, I'm in step 3, and I've got myself into a trance state, and I'm sinking deeper and deeper into the trance. All right? So I'm in step 3. I've tranced, I've done step 2, I've done set and setting, I've done some mantras, I've done some relaxation technique, I've grounded myself, I've gone through step 2. Okay? Now I'm in step 3. Oh, thank you. Feel free to pipe in, Meador, because we've got somebody who knows more than me probably. But anyway, in step 3, I want you to think of abiding as sitting with yourself. And specifically, I want you to focus on the sensations that you're feeling in the gut area and in the heart. In this area, because you have low and high heart, it's basically this area and this area. So when you're abiding, to just sit quietly and not necessarily try to do anything other than just abide and allow the space to exist for some healing to arise. In plainer words, sometimes we do too much. Sometimes we do too much, and sometimes it's better to do a lot less. So learning to simply abide with spirit. Now, say you were doing a traditional abiding and you were a Christian, you might light a candle, say a prayer, right? Maybe you might want to put a little incense on if you like. Nice scent. Maybe you would open the Bible, right? And you would read some passages, right? That would be like your prayers that would get you in a soothing place. And then so now you're in this deep spiritual state or trance state. You can now go into your abiding and you can begin to feel the sensations of your third and fourth chakra. As you go deeper and deeper into a relaxed state. And once you've really made that strong connection with your third and fourth chakra, you can begin documenting what you're feeling. When you connect with a target on a gut level, you're really going to be able to hear them, what their side of things. You're going to sit with them in the gut. Now, when you tune in with that other person in the heart, you'll be able to take them in with the heart. We've talked about the fact that the heart has tissue, which is like tissue of no other kind. It's both muscle tissue, cardiac tissue, it's muscular, but it's also electrical. It has its own separate sensory system, a sensory system that's separate from the brain. For example, you could be brain dead, but if we keep giving a person oxygen, their heart can continue to beat. So the heart can exist separate from the brain. And so there's this idea that the heart wants what the heart wants, regardless of what the brain wants. And so rationalizing with somebody and telling them it's not appropriate that you should be in love with this person, or it's not appropriate that you should long to go and do A, B, C, D, E. If it's a desire of the heart, it cannot be intellectually rationalized, because the heart exists and functions and receives sensory information from the outside world separately from the brain. Similarly, the gut evolves in embryological development. Hi, Sheila. Similarly, the gut, if you're looking at embryological folding, early development of the embryo, when you have early formation of what will be your organs, some of that tissue goes on to become brain and spinal cord, and some becomes the digestive tract. We've talked in the past about the digestive tract being the earliest, most primitive multi-organized systems that we know of is just a gut. An example would be like a clam. It doesn't have a central nervous system. It's just a stomach. It senses it has a foot. It eats and it has a foot. That's pretty much it. It's just a muscle with a bivalve. It has a valve that goes in and a valve that goes in that digests. So this is a very primitive sensory organ. So when you're reacting to things, before you even consciously are aware that there's a problem, and you stay in a situation too long, it could possibly be because you've broken, for whatever reason, that connection between your brain and your little brain, which you get when you're engaged in mindfulness. Does everybody get that? There is this idea that if you are in a relationship with somebody who's dominating you, somebody who's in your space trying to control you, whether it's, however, in whatever way they're trying to control you, the type of mindfulness we're talking about requires space. You have to be able to have the space to hear your own voice. And that can be very threatening to people, particularly if you're thinking about societies with like a dominant church. If people were all tuning in, right, and listening to and not what the priest was saying or not what this person was saying, and they were learning the abiding technique, and they were first checking in with themselves to make sure they're right with themselves, and then from a place of love with the right motives, right, they attempt to make contact with somebody else because maybe there's a problem in the family, or all the reasons that human beings would want to do this that are morally justifiable to save a life, right? But that process happens when it can't start until you trust your gut, and it can't start until you know the difference between what you feel versus what somebody else feels. You get what I'm saying? So what starts to happen, and why you get hired, whether you're using the cards, and I think it's completely okay to use the cards to start with. What starts to happen is that people trust you. People no longer trust their own gut. Maybe a partner is cheating on them and lying about it. Maybe they're, something is. Yeah, so, if you're learning to row, just because people want to see, you're a reader, and you're a professional reader, and say you're using tarot or something like that, but you're also in training to be a heart-centered remote viewer. I think it's absolutely fine to use both. I go into remote views all the time with cards, even though Linda G doesn't call it that, I mean, she'll or she hears her guides come in, whatever system that takes you out of this dimension so that you're through the rabbit hole. This is just one way to do that. Okay, so the point I was trying to make here is that centralized governments, dominating persons, don't want us to make a strong connection with our gut and stick up for ourselves and say, well, this is my truth and I think you're a jerk. Or this is my truth and I'm not going to live under your church, or that's the thing that causes civil war. The serfs are not organized. The serfs have their place and the divine right of kings, and everybody has to do their job to keep the feudal society going. And if you have these remote viewers running around who are sitting in a forest and said, hey, I just figured out this technique that if I do ABC, that's when the problems start. So that's what this technique is. It's about learning the difference between what you're feeling versus what they're feeling. And also sometimes we're feeling things and it's completely irrational. And it has nothing to do with us. It's because someone we're connected to is going through something and we just feel empathy for that person. So we'll pick up the phone and call them because we get a feeling something's not right. All right, so the area of the primitive brain will often receive information before we consciously understand it, right? We got that? Everybody got that? So you could react even before you have the mindfulness to know what you're reacting to. The great thing about mindfulness is that it will teach you that when you're being triggered and it's your stuff because somebody says something, you'll feel the reaction because everybody has a trigger. And then you might emotionally react and not realize that you're upset because of a sensation you just had in your gut because you've been triggered. Once you find out what your triggers are and you work through them, I've got a lot of triggers. Most remote viewers, we're honest, we've got tons, we're nothing but a bunch of jumping, which is why we have to be really careful that it isn't our stuff, right? Which is why it's so important to do these constant meditations over and over and over again so that you have the mindfulness to separate our stuff versus their stuff. Yeah, when people call you crazy, it's because you've either called them out on something or they're scared. So as you go further and further into the abiding experience, you will be going to deeper and deeper states of consciousness. Or you have the conscious mind, right? Carl Jung talked about this. You have the unconscious, you have the conscious, the unconscious, you have the collective, right? The super consciousness, where all of consciousness is one. It's kind of like where we float around as remote viewers, looking for hot spots, looking for conversations, but we're not going out there. Where's the rabbit hole? The rabbit hole is you're going in there into sensation, into the primitive brain that's connected theoretically, energetically to everybody and everything else. So that when you digest and you meditate on that subject, if you've invited that person into the space, it's going to feel differently than just you judging, well, this is what I think about you. When I sit in my incredible dislike of you, that's not exactly the same thing. Something else I want to say about that? Oh, yeah. Some people have used what's called the... some people have used... sorry, I'm dealing with something here. All right, is everybody go bye-bye that needed to go bye-bye? I think so. Yes, we have to get rid of some people here. I don't know. Yeah, okay. So, did I get to all my notes? Yeah, so we use mindfulness and sensation and observation in the trance state to go from through the rabbit hole, from our conscious state to the unconscious state to the super or collective. We then use love by opening the fourth chakra, and in a state of divine love, we open our hearts to that person in our heart, not out there. In our heart, we allow them in our gut first, then the heart will follow. Then you can begin to ask the subject questions or sense how you feel with that person, digesting the energy of that person and digesting the emotions, the heart of that person. I'm fading in and out. Okay, so we're going to start an experiment now. Is everybody ready for a fun experiment? I have to get the picture. So we're going to be having a fun little test, and I'm going to pick a target. And the target I'm picking is a famous individual. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the 5-step technique today. And then when we get to step 3, abiding step, we're going to just use a traditional heart-centered remote viewing technique, where once we get into step 3, I'm going to project a target. Is everybody getting this? I'm going to ask you a series of questions about the target. You're going to be asked the gender and hair color, eye color, shape of face, etc. And any other impressions you may get of the target. Sound good? Is everybody ready to attempt this experiment? All right, so I'm going to write the name of the target. Is everybody awake? Is everybody paying attention? All right. I'll do it right here. I'm going to write the name of the target. We're going to go through the 5 steps. And I'm going, no, we don't have to do the 5 steps actually, because this is a different, we only have to do 3 steps. Okay, so I'm going to write the name. Okay, I've written the name of the target. Okay. All right, so we're going to do a little experiment. It's not going to be the same as going full trance because we don't have accoutrements, right? We don't have the music, we don't have the mantras, we don't have all of that. But we can try and do a semi. Okay, sound good? Gotta get myself comfortable. We haven't done the experiment yet, Joanne, so you can't guess until you've done the experiment. You're not in an altered state. It would just be... Okay. All right, let's do a simple... Did we pray yet? Have we prayed yet? I don't remember. Did we do the white light protection prayer? Okay, let's do a simple prayer. All right, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journey, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, for the planet, for the people we love, but also to help those we have strife with. And together we say, Amen. Amen, everyone. All right, so the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to get ourselves in a relaxed state. You can take a couple nice deep breaths and let out a bunch of tension. And now I want you to imagine that there is a white light coming from your abdomen. It's like an egg, and it's surrounding you. It's putting you in a white light, a shield of protection. It's coming from your center, from your third chakra. And as you breathe, I just want you to relax into that space. And imagine a gold light around the white. So you're in a bubble of light and a shield of protection. And imagine yourself just going into a very deep state of relaxation. And as you do so, you want to imagine your first chakra, which is from the coccyx, the energy coming down red into the earth. It's kind of interesting. The name for earth in Hebrew is Adam. And part of the name is Dom, which is red. And the first chakra is red, and it makes contact with the earth. And we just imagine making roots with the earth and really just getting yourself nice and grounded. And then as the energy of the earth begins to come up from the first chakra, it'll fill the chakra. You may feel the energy rise to the second chakra, which is below the umbilicus. Its color is orange. And then as the energy rises, it rises above the umbilicus in the abdominal area. And this is the area we're focusing a lot on today. It's yellow, and it involves both the brain and the nervous system, the gut and the nervous system. So this is an area that we really focus a lot, bringing the energy up into this gut area, awakening it, strengthening the core, doing abdominal core strengthening, really building a solid relationship with your gut, trusting your gut, having a strong gut, believing in yourself, being able to fight back comes from having a strong core, not being gaslit, right? Not having a weak connection with your core. You check in on your core at least once a day, and you do an account and a reckoning in your journal every day. So you're always checking in. So that's going to also protect you from being gaslit, by the way. So as the energy goes up, it's going to go up now to the fourth chakra, which is the heart chakra. And this is another organ we want you to focus on a lot in the meditative state. It's just sinking into relaxation in the fourth chakra. Its colors are green and pink. And it's going to allow you to feel love and compassion, universal compassion towards the subject. After you've connected with them and begun to see them and connect with them through the gut, then the heart will begin to open up. Then you're going to imagine light coming from the sky, coming down to the seventh, sixth, fifth, and fourth chakras. So the seventh, the top is often the pure white light or indigo. The sixth I think of as more like a violet. The 5th I think of as light blue. Some people will think of the 6th as a dark blue. And then you'll bring the energies together. And then you'll hold them in a space, imagining the energy in front of you like a Qigong ball. Just really allow that energy of the 3rd and 4th chakra to really pulsate and strengthen between earth and sky energy. And as you sink deeper into your relaxation, I want you to put one hand on your gut and one hand in the heart chakra area and really abide in that. Now, when you learn to abide, you learn to hold the space for yourself. And as a counselor, you will learn to do this for your patients. And that is to just really abide with yourself for a moment. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so now in an abiding state, we're going to meditate on a target. All right, so I'm going to look at a picture of the target. If you want to open your eyes, you can do so. If you don't want to open your eyes, you don't have to. And I'm looking at the target for the next couple of minutes. I want to get a nice big picture of this target. Let's see here. All right, nice big picture. And I'm going to abide, and I want you to focus on the gender. We're just going to focus on the gender. Don't make a decision until you've meditated. Okay. And now that you've determined the gender of the target, I'd like you to see if you can get the hair color of the target. Okay. And now that you've gotten the hair color of the target, I want you to see if you can see the eyes of the target. All right. So I'm going to continue to look at the target and any additional impressions you may have. The shape of the face, the personality of the target. Do you get a good feeling, a bad vibe from the target? So I'm just going to meditate on the target. I'm going to abide with the target. And I'm going to see, while I abide, I want to see if anyone picks up anything. All right, so I'm going to thank the target for being part of this experiment. I'm going to cut cords with the target. And I'm going to release the target. And thank them for sharing with us today. Okay, so that was a little bit of a test. Don't feel bad if you didn't do too well. Okay, you guys didn't have to guess right away. All right, so you guys were guessing, and I didn't want you guys to do that. All right, so the first thing I'm asking is what gender did you get? It's okay. I just want to get gender. I'm not asking. Go with your guts. What's your gender of the target? Okay, so it's looking like 50-50, would you say? Okay. Oh, more female. See, the more people who waited said female. The target was female. So if you got that right, give yourself a pat. No guessing, Don. Okay, what is the eye color, or sorry, what is the hair color of the target? We're going to do this so many times. Don't feel bad if you didn't get it right the first time. Hair color of the target. It's blonde dyed. Whoever said blonde dyed, that was the correct answer, and that was what I sent. The message I sent was dyed blonde. All right, eye color. Eye color of the target. Eye color of the target was blue. General information about the target's shape of face, if you have anything you'd like to add, and if you would like to guess the target. Who did you think the target was? Or if you want to guess now. Eyes are blue. It's not me. I got brown eyes. Don't it make my brown eyes blue? Tell me no secrets, tell me some lies. Give me no reason, give me no alibis. Tell me you love me and don't say goodbye. Say anything, but don't say goodbye. Who got it right? Did anyone get it right? Who got it right? I just want to, I'm not, I mean, from the very beginning, like who got the hit and said, I've got the hit? So don't feel bad. This wasn't real remote viewing because we didn't really do the whole technique. It was just an example. Any way you can get yourself into a deep state of abiding, you can abide with a target and try and see if you can pick up information. Jamie G got it right. You know, they say the people that get it right are probably people that listen to their gut more often. You know, it's something to be, you know, if you grew up with parents that respected you and taught you to believe in yourself and listen to your gut and listen to your dreams, then you're probably going to be better at this experiment than somebody who was discouraged. But rest assured, once you start doing it, you did great, Susan. It's, you know, it's like extra credit if you guess the person. I don't really care if you guess the actual person. It's just more about physical characteristics. This is going to be incredibly important if you do decide to go into law enforcement. So it's just like try and get as close as you can. That's the technique they use in classic RV with law enforcement is they get the police officers in a relaxed state. Then they have the target in an envelope, and then they test repeatedly over and over and over again, test the police to strengthen their gut. The little brain. Le petit, whatever this is, whatever you call it. The little brain. All right, so that's all I have for class today. We can hang after class. I know a lot of people have asked me to end at an hour. I try to respect people's time. So if you just came for the class and you don't want to hang out and do anything else, thanks for coming. We'll see you next class. Be there or be square, as they say. Be sure to share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff if you liked the class. I think I'll just hang out here a little bit if people have questions. I don't know, maybe we'll do some cards. Thank you, everyone who has to take off. That was fun, Michelle. Did you have fun, Michelle? You're very, very welcome. I always get nervous when I'm teaching these things, like Princess Diana's eyes were blue. All right, if anybody wants to talk about their homework, last week we had a homework assignment where I asked people if they could take somebody that they admired, either dead or alive, and see if they can make a connection with them. I also asked if you wanted to attempt to pick a target of someone, they could be someone you know or someone you don't know. Did anyone have any good or positive experiences that they wanted to share with the group? You're welcome, Kathy. Yeah, Michelle, I was like, ooh, am I offline again? La petite cerveau. Yeah, it's called Le Petit Cerveau. Am I saying it? The little brain, La Petite Cerveau. Yeah, Shari. I mean, when I had my kind of awakening, which is nothing more than just a mental collapse at 50, it was because so many people had dropped so much crap on me that by the time a woman is 50, she's just like, what the hell just happened to me? So it's right around the 50s when women just walk away from everything and they, get rid of the bra and I'm going to go find myself. And it's actually really a great thing. they reconnect with women and they travel the world together, and it's kind of an awesome time for women. I think is the time of the queen. I feel very queenly lately too. I feel very regal. I'm not a crone, I'm a queen. God, I can't believe this stuff that's going on with Trump. Jeez Louise. What's the latest on Brexit? Is that nightmare going to end soon? God. I love being in my 50s. I'm having so much fun. I'm going to check on Britain and Brexit right now because it's going to be happening soon, right? When's Brexit happening? I know. How long have you been watching me do on Brexit, Michelle? Almost, over 3 years now, right? Nightmare, right? It's just gone on and on and on and on. Almost over 4 years now with Brexit. But I've been doing remotes on breakfast for, I think, about 3 years. It's just nothing changes really. I think the people heading it are being perceived of as crazy. Look at this. Attached to Brexit, an inverted King of Cups, which is crazy. Right? The inverted King of Cups, he's like, whoa, out to lunch there. A decision has to be made about, this is Brexit, a decision having to be made in the courts. Boy, it's a ton of money loss. Oh my God. Who does this benefit? I don't get it. I think there's real frustration by Europe, by Great Britain, because Great Britain keeps changing their mind. It's like what Germany said, if you're going to leave, could you make it be as quick as possible? Because dragging it on and dragging it on and dragging it on is not helping anybody. For Brexit, it looks like they don't really know what they're doing. They kind of don't want to totally leave. And there's a real anger and impatience. Look at the response of the monetary people in the EU. Look at this, an inverted Queen of Wands emerges. They've outstayed their welcome. People are really getting tired of Great Britain in Europe. They kind of wish they would just leave already. I think that they're going to request more help from Europe, and I think Europe is ready to cut the cord and just let them sink at this point. I'm sorry to say. Oh, probably. I mean, the movement is the of nationalism against globalism. Yeah, probably. Because he wanted to break up NATO. Just going to see if Putin's okay. Might as well. So they got another scam going, according to that RV. There's death around Putin. There's physical death around Putin. His alliances are collapsing. It's Trump. Trump's having a complete and total meltdown. Where's the base cards? Where's the base? Can I not take a base? I don't know. I'm worried for the United States because when you put yourself in Putin's shoes, when you put yourself in Putin's shoes, it's not good. He perceives of the United States as collapsing under Donald Trump. He himself is not in a good place regarding his alliances. It looks like part of it has to do with the collapse of the Trump, but I think that all the death is due to COVID and also because of what's going on in the United States with Trump and COVID. But you can see these are definitely cards that you would see in a plague. I really think he bankrupted Russia. I really don't think there's much left of Russia after this. That's the sad, unfortunate part. There's so much potential and so many brilliant people in Russia, some of the greatest scientists, and there's no excuse for them to be in their current economic situation. It's just unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, I think he completely destroyed the GDP. He's blaming us, right? You go into the remote, it's all America's fault. America did this to us. America destroyed the Soviet Union. He wanted to do it to us. He wanted to come in and destroy the United States the way we destroyed his united Russia. And completely create complete division, divide the states, create another succession, and have us all fighting and completely collapse our infrastructure and economy because of what was done to Russia. That is, whether you agree, it's not I'm just a remote view. And nothing has changed. What's changed is that there's death all around him, which has me very concerned about medicine getting to remote areas in Eastern Europe in general. Christine Lagarde, she's disgusted. I think she's the inverted Queen of Wands, because when you follow that energy of them and this confused King of Cups, right? The inverted King of Cups who's trying to negotiate this, he's confused in his cups, right? It can be someone that's in their cups or a little bit, woohoo, right? He's trying to renegotiate this thing again. And then you have this woman show up, and she's the archetype of the inverted Queen of Wands saying, I'm done here. We're done here. It's like he's a clown. Well, let's try this now. Let's try that now. Let's try this now. And everybody's just spinning around in chaos, spending money, dancing for the clown, and people they're done. There's a real feeling from the EU, unfortunately for Britain, that they may see a hard Brexit with those types of cards. That's the unfortunate. I can't say I blame the EU. I'm going to do 3 cards on Brexit. Whether real or imagined, they think they can get Brexit within a month. He still believes that he can. Boris Johnson, he still believes they can have it ready within a month. He has something he wants to present within a month. Look at that. I don't know if it's going to happen though. He's a clown. Really very, 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 very silly, silly boy. Yeah, class only goes for an hour. I have to say, though, I'm jealous of them. They already have the vaccine. They're going to be able to be together for Christmas. That's that's really pretty great. Family are already getting it. I'm going to just check on the vaccine distribution in the United States. Yeah. It's happening. It's going fast. They're going to look at this. They're bringing it over. Chick chuck. It's happening quickly. It's happening quickly. There's the scientist. Celebration. It's going to be readily available by April. You can see the 4 of Wands. We read Wands as month cards. Coming from overseas. We may have to wait up to 3 months. Damn. Dang. We have too many delays. It's the red tape again. Waiting overseas also up to 3 months. So we're now into December, January, February, March. Unhealthy. Don't have enough supplies. This is the 8, lack of supplies. Hopes and fears, running out of time. The final outcome, we'll have the vaccine in the United States within a month. But that doesn't mean everybody's going to get it, but we'll have it in a month. So we got to hold on for another 30 days. So we're talking about major distribution, probably to frontline workers within 30 days. So that would be December, right around, we can go ahead and document by January 8th. Maybe not 3-4 weeks. Pentacles weeks. The end of 3 weeks, the beginning of a month. I'll go ahead and say within 3 weeks to a month, we'll have the vaccine. People will begin receiving the vaccine in the United States. I mean, it's just like getting Hep B. You know, it's 3 series when I got Hep B because I travel a lot. And also, I did a medical rotation in Nicaragua. I had to get a bunch of shots. You just go back in 2 weeks later and get your second shot. I'll look at safety. I don't think it's dangerous or anything. The American one used to have egg in it, and people would have egg allergy. This doesn't have egg. I don't think that's Priscilla. I think actually I think if it's anything like Hep B, you're going to be somewhat protected after the first one, but to be on the safe side, they recommend a second. For example, I had 3 injections of the Hep B. The first time you get it, you're about 55% protected. The second time, you're like 80% protected. And then the third time, it's 100% protection. But some people only go in once or twice, and they still feel that they have enough protection. So it's very likely that after you have one shot, you will have some protection already. But the second one is just to ensure that you have full protection. It's just to ensure that you're making adequate antibodies. No, there's no mercury. It's been outlawed in Europe. It's coming from Pfizer, which is, somebody said it's not homeopathic because it's made with chemicals. Homeopathy isn't natural or chemicals or anything. Homeopathy is the idea that you take a small amount of a substance that's similar to the thing you're treating, you percuss it, and then it's supposed to, you give it in a neutral solution, and then it's supposed to mimic the thing you're treating, treats like is the fundamental principle of homeopathy. Some of the things that they've made homeopathic remedies from are like radiation, syphilis. Those are called nosodes, actual infection, where they will give small amounts of the nosode. Because when Hahnemann, who discovered homeopathy, it was at the same time when the Victorians were doing research in vaccination. So what the Germans did is they basically took something. It was DNA, but what it is it's the part of the. It's a substance that your immune system will recognize and then mount an immune response or create antibodies. And those antibodies that are going to be created can fight COVID. But it's in very small, but it's like homeopathy in the sense that like trees. Okay. There is no fool's passerby. This is a closed courtyard. It has to be up because my cat will tear it to shreds. I'm upstairs in a closed courtyard in an ivory tower. Yeah, exactly, Gigi. So that's actually on the boards. First is 55, second is 80, third is approximate. It's safe, but it's temporary. The problem with the vaccine is that it's a temporary fix, but they may have to keep modifying it. You got a star card here. It puts things, it slows down the spread, but then we have a 5 of Swords, so it's probably just a temporary fix. There's no health crisis or anything like that. There is a problem with supply, but we already knew that. I don't get any health things. I don't get any health cards with. I never get health concerns with this vaccine ever. With some of the drugs on the markets, I will get a bad hit. I just don't get anything like that with the Pfizer or the other one. I think they're extremely clean. Yeah. I'll check the Moderna next, but I'm not getting spooky. If something's gnarly, I'll tell people. Look at the Moderna. Wow, there's a lot of information that went into the Moderna. Look at the scholarship around this. Good ethos. A desperate situation. A solution. A healing. Sane judgment. A celebration from the poverty or the situation. A positive judgment over the scholars. Good ethos and healing. So yeah, both vaccines are safe. Well, thank you, Hayes. Oh, lovely, another cup of coffee. Oh, got to keep the oracle loaded up with coffee. Well, my goodness, people, what do y'all think? Has this been an adventure or what? Oh, that's a really good question, Patty, because the Pfizer isn't an American company. It didn't get the money. We spent $70 million on the Moderna, and so people should be able to get the Moderna free since we've already paid for it. So I don't think there was anything nefarious going on. It's just that we already paid for it. You see what she just did? Hi. I love you too. You good baby? I love you. So if you pay Moderna $70 million and then Pfizer is rushing and we've got to shell out a bunch of money to get the Pfizer, then people are going to have to pay cash out of Pfizer. Yeah, we'll take a certain amount that's going to hold us over until the Moderna is ready. But to buy a bunch of stuff that we're going to have to pay for, just give us enough to hold us over. Thank you, Tamara Rose. Give us enough to hold us over until the stuff we paid for is available. But yeah, we should be getting vaccinated for free since we paid for it with our tax dollars. So that's why I think a lot of people, I think that it had more to do with that than some evil intent. One of the things that annoys me is just when there's propaganda on both sides. Like, I don't think everything that the administration did. Stop it, Mila. You got my attention. She's so annoying sometimes. Sometimes it's just practically looking at the budget and then saying, well, Americans are poor. We want the one we already paid for. Hey, sweetie. Do you want to sit with me over here? Is that why you're being a pain in the suckus? I love you. I love you so much. You looking for your doggy? Looking for your kitty? I love you so much. I really do. I love you. You're your baby. You're my baby. She's a very naughty girl. Well, we already bought it. I'm having tea. Thank you. DR2. Let's do some fun readings. Let's turn this into a slumber party free for all. We should do like love readings, like who's going to find love again or something like that. Something fun. All this dang Trump. I'm so sick of that guy. What'd you see, Mila? What'd you see? All right. Let us. Oh, did she? I love Dolly Parton. What a sweet lady. Patricia win the housing lottery. Very likely, yes, Patricia, you may win the housing lottery. There's an offer coming to you. They're waltzing in with the good news. So yes, probably. Hey, right. Something fun. A love reading. Michaela Antoinette Claudette, what are you doing? Why are you doing that, Mila? To get my attention? Do you think, does it fascinate you, Mila, that I have eyes in the back of my head and I can see you? Or are you not even slightly impressed by that? She's the worst. Will Patty be moving? I'll do one card. Why not? You got a lover coming, Miss Patty. I would say yes. All right. Let's look at someone from the past. Let's just anything interesting. Will the 60, I'm not supposed to do private readings. Will the 60-hour weeks pay off at my job? One card. Ooh, you got great cards. That's old loves returning. What am I doing? I'm waiting for somebody to ask me to do something. Oh, she has a squirrel? Yeah, you might be right. Should you file for disability? You'll get your wish, they say, so I don't know. All right. I'm going to look into Melania's future after the White House because we didn't get to that. Let's look at Melania. Melania. Yeah, we'll look at Melania. I'll probably have to take care of my cat. This is playtime for her, so she's annoyed. She has her din-din. She has her nappies, and she has her snacky. Then she has her playtime right around now. Hi, Kiki. Wow, right now, it doesn't look like Melania can get away from this guy. Look at this. She's changed to the devil and she can't get away. So for whatever reason, right now, she's stuck with him. She's very able to not be attached. You know, she's kind of like in her own garden. She is somebody, Melania, that she really is an island to some extent. She's very independent. She's always been that way. She said she's always, she really was a good student. She actually was. She always liked learning. She always liked studying. She was always a good student. Her son's schooling is very important to her because unlike Donald Trump, she actually takes education really seriously. Huh. That's kind of interesting. She will eventually divorce him. She can't divorce him while he's in the White House because of something that she arranged. This goes back to a remote I did a couple of years ago where I saw that they had to communicate, but they negotiated their deal through a third party. Everybody's negotiating a deal. Everybody in the Trump family is always joking about their deals and who can get the best deal. If Trump is talking to Melania, it's because he's trying to see if she can get the best deal. So if she, say, got a commercial deal for a show, for a Lancome or something like that, it's all about deals and making, it's about the grift and who has the best grift. I really see Melania getting job offers after this whole nightmare, possibly with beauty companies and things like that. Similar to what happened with Ivana Trump. Just she gets carried away, other lovers giving her offers. And then she has her family in the 8th house, an offer. The craziness in the White House, COVID, etc., the tension in the marriage leads to dissolution of marriage. Also, possible issues of frugality or coin holding. She has to protect her money from during the divorce. You can see the 4 of Pentacles, which is a frugality card. So yeah, so the art of the steal or whatever. I don't know. The art of the, I don't know. Very strange. But it's interesting to look at Melania's cards because she does have that aspect. I do want to look at William Barr because looks like he's going to be quitting. I don't think he's coming back after Christmas, is he? Said he's leaving in like, what, 3 weeks? I thought she used to work for Lancome. I think she had a former contract with them, if I'm not mistaken. Houses in the reading. You know, in astrology, you have houses. When you do a card reading, you have houses as well. You can have 10 houses in a Celtic cross, or if you do a Celtic cross the way I do, it's 12 houses. The 2 on the bottom I pull are the 11th and 12th cards, and those are the karma card and the base of the matter. So it just depends on how you read. But I read with houses. The location of the cards, the house that the card sits in. You have an astrological chart or you have a card chart, and it's just a card chart. And some people will write their card charts down and they'll analyze them. I know Becca, who from House of Lennerman, she will draw up her card charts and she'll spend time going over them just like an astrologer. And I really like that. What I love about the group of people that share together, like Becca, Johnny, all the other readers, is that they just love the tarot. It's just a group of really cool people and very intelligent people. But we just all really are genuine lovers of the tarot. And I think that's really cool. I kind of teach how I read, Michelle. It's just my own way. As time goes by, you'll begin to develop your own kinks. You read all the books, and then it's whatever you want it to be. Those are just general guides. So, yeah. All right, I'm going to look at William Barr next. I have the best job in the world. I just show up in my bathrobe. Boy, this is going to change. The thing about the vaccine is I'm probably going to have to go back to an office. Well, it was fun while it lasted. His contract is over. He's taken a lot of secrets with him. Family stuff. Contract over. He's going to finish up some stuff, and you can see the charity card, his karma card. He's still showing mercy to people. There's an Ace of Pentacles moving in. I could be wrong. For whatever reason, Lancome stuck in my head. It could be something, but I just see her possibly being the face of a beauty line. Barr definitely witnessed something that's potentially illegal, and the best way for him to deal with it is to leave the Justice Department so that he doesn't have to deal with it at all. His third house, what he sits in, is Lover's card, which could be a lover's tryst or something happening potentially illegal that he witnessed, and the best way for him to handle it is by not handling it. People are up to something. He sees people up to something. His response, what's over him, end of a contract, family secrets, family inheritance. People are up to something, secret liaisons. In the past, he couldn't leave. He thought about leaving, but couldn't. What sits above him, his card, the bridge over troubled water. He tried to help Trump. It comes to an end. The stop gap is in the 6th house. It's over. He feels that he was a huge success in terms of what he came to do, he did. Yeah, it's true, Sarah. He's concerned about this president. It's in his 9th house. And then the final outcome is the president is having a complete and total collapse, and he doesn't want to be there when it happens. I think Trump's going to have a complete meltdown in less than 2 weeks. I'll be specific here, a week and 4 days. So we'll go ahead and document. People write this down. So we're now on the 8th. So a week and 4 days, 15, 16, 17, 18. Between the 18th and 19th of December, expect fireworks from Trump. Some kind of psychological meltdown. He's imploding. It could be within a week and a half. It's like a breakdown or something. So if Lindsey Graham is talking to the president about resigning, and if Lindsey Graham says that it's a consensus and everybody in the Senate agrees it's a pretty good idea, why do you think that situation could potentially happen? What do you think could be potentially in the works? Why would they give him the chance to resign? Why is Pence not returning his calls? That's right, Tamara Rose. The king is now dead. Long live the king. I think they got evidence against him when he was in the hospital. I think that he wanted to get out early because he started to get paranoid. I think that they were looking at his cognition. I think they can now hold it over his head in Article 25 that he has not been himself since he got COVID. I think they can show evidence that his brain isn't all there. Yeah, I do Zoom. But a lot of people want to come into the office. It's okay. I'm being silly. The truth is it'll be good for me to go into the office. Yeah, I mean, I'm just concerned that with these cards, Trump is probably going to implode relatively soon. But if you knew somebody was going to implode, and if you knew everything was going to hit the fan, you'd want to get out of there beforehand, and that looks like what's going to happen. If Trump continues to act like this, they could threaten him with Article 25, in which case, if they did that privately, and if they had, look, it goes back to the remote. Who has to cut the head off the beast? Mitch McConnell. Why won't he do it? Why? Because he's afraid to. Remember, he's a frightened knight, but he has to do it, and Lindsey Graham has to take position too. And if this craziness continues, and it looks like it's escalating for the next week and a half, they may be in a position where it is getting to a point of resign, or we will drag you out of there with Article 25. Which is pretty much what Marie's Table said was going to happen. They will come in the night and they will literally drag him out of there. But he'll be given the honor of resigning so that he doesn't get humiliated. It's very embarrassing. Can you imagine having to be the person that has to have that conversation with him? Good God. How was that for some information? Jeez. I'm going to get myself some more water. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh, I got to show you a new pick. I'm so proud of myself. I got a great new pick. Wow. Well, that's interesting. It's interesting that we can do Mitch McConnell next, but it's kind of interesting that when you go into Barr's like, yeah, we're going to threaten him with Article 25 if he doesn't resign. I think I'm going to quit before that it gets to that point. And we just discovered the lover's card in the third house regarding this. We just discovered illegal activity, and I can't protect him, so I'm leaving. It's probably a smart idea too. If you can't protect the person you were hired there, just leave. Hey, it wasn't on my watch. All right, I'm going to show off. This is the pick. What do you think? You're seeing growth, right? I like that. You know what this is? What I'm rehearsing? That's you were a carpenter and I were a lady. Would you marry me anyway? I'd have your baby. If a tinker were my trade, would you still find me carrying the pots I made, following behind me? I'm going to record it. Save my love for loneliness, save my love for sorrow. I give you my loneliness, come give me your tomorrow. If I worked my hands in wood, would you still love me? Answer me, baby, yes I would. I'd put you above me. If I were a miller at a mill wheel grinding, would you miss your color box, your soft shoes shining? Save my love for loneliness, save my love for sorrow. I'm giving you my loneliness, come give me your tomorrow. Save my love for loneliness, save my love for sorrow. I give you my loneliness, come give me your tomorrow. If you were a carpenter and I were a lady, I'd marry you anyway. I'd have you, baby. Oops. I'm getting there. Couple more, who knows how long, and it's going to be Whimsy's going to be a folk singer. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging in with me. I sound very good. Thank you. I was making all kinds of mistakes, so that I appreciate that. Thank you for listening. Love and light to everybody. I'm going to call it a night. I've been hanging for almost 2 hours. If people need to still get in for a reading, be sure and check out tarotwithwhimsy.com. And if you haven't done so yet, be sure and share, like, subscribe, click the bell notification. You guys are great. I have so much fun hanging out with you all, and I really appreciate the support. I'll see you guys later.